Welcome to Season 3 of The Breakdown, the official podcast of the Breakaway Roping Journal and calfroping.com. This season, we're diving into both the breakaway and calf roping like never before, bringing you the personalities, successes, and horses that make these events great.
You can expect training tips from the top ropers, stories from the road, and industry news that goes beyond the numbers.
I'm Taylor Vollen, your calf roping host.
And I'm Lillian Kent, your breakaway host.
And this is The Breakdown.
Hey everyone, this is Lillian, and welcome back to another episode of the Breakaway Breakdown. Now, I know you guys missed us. We did take a little bit of a break coming into the new year, but you can expect consistent breakaway and calf roping podcasts coming your way from your friends over here at Breakaway Roping Journal and calfroping.com. Now, in today's episode, I get to talk to none other than the Jackie Crawford. This interview is actually from when she won the San Diego Rodeo back in January. And y'all, she came away from that rodeo with over $35,000 won. But even better than that, she got the win on her special T-Boy, the gelding that she won't use the word retired, but semi-retired and put out to pasture. Won so much on that horse. Roped on him at the NFBR when it was in Texas, and just a really special guy. So the fact that he is back is huge. So we kind of open up talking a little bit about the San Diego win, the setup, and then we kind of run into T-Boy and T-Boy's comeback before wrapping up with talking about her breakaway string. And when this was recorded, she hadn't listed her Great Gelding backtrack for sale yet. So you hear her talking about how she basically has a lot of really good breakaway horses and she wasn't sure who she's going to sell. Well, Backtrack is listed for sale on Facebook, so if you need an amazing breakaway horse, go check him out. But before we jump into today's episode, I do need to give a shout out to today's sponsor, roping.com. Roping.com is the ultimate streaming experience for every roper, and we also have a lot of great educational roping content with OGs like Larry D. Guy and Hope Thompson on there. So go check out roping.com. Without further ado, it's time to rope. Let's go. Okay, so this was your second time going to San Diego, wasn't it?
Nope, my first time. I actually didn't go last year because I went to the American qualifier in Las Vegas.
What was it like to go to that baseball stadium in California and kind of see the crowd and that different venue?
Well, you know what? Something that was really cool to kind of add to that I never really thought about is that at one time, I mean, that Houston had a first and second year, Pendleton had a first and second year, all these places. And it's like, holy cow, how cool is it that one day we might look up and we were at the ground floor of what is now one of the most historical rodeos, because it has that feel. I mean, when you can take a rodeo to San Diego and they pack it out. They pack all the seats that they were selling out on Saturday night, and you have the crowd that you did. It's like, man, there's some real potential for rodeo to grow in this place, and it's pretty neat to think about being on the ground floor of that in such an amazing venue. I mean, obviously it was huge and it was so cool, and just really cool to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember last year when it happened, it seemed to come so fast after the holidays and everything, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. And I feel like the second year is where you really get a feel for where an event is going. And it seems like that one's going straight up.
Yeah, it really is. It is a really, really cool rodeo.
Yeah. Did your family head out there with you?
No, because honestly, I wasn't sure. Well, number one, Creed has to try to get to as much school as possible. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure of the situation, and not gonna lie, we're kind of helicopter parents in a way that I guess we were a little scared, do we let Journey go? But then I didn't know the situation getting in there. So no, they didn't go.
Yeah, well, it just makes things a little bit simpler and takes some pressure off of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, so they stayed home and took care of everything, and it was cold and all that here, so I hated that for them because they were stuck inside, but we were just a little worried about it first year, not knowing the situation, not knowing like how close can they get to the arena, like can I keep eyes on them. I'm real weird when I can't have my eyes on my kids, even when hey buddy, you gotta be quiet. When I can't have my eyes on them, I just don't do as well. So
Yeah, I respect that.
yeah, so
Talk to me about the setup there. Was it like 2 under, 4 under?
it was fast. It was 4 under.
Okay.
The box is pretty wide. It feels pretty wide. So even though, I mean, it was fast, but obviously you could break it because if you didn't go ahead and let them kind of do something, I mean, you could definitely break it just like that. My first calf was supposed to be sharp, and he left, and when he stepped left pretty hard, like even before he got to the barrier. So I clipped the barrier. So it was breakable, but it definitely was a fast setup.
Yeah. Okay. So then they did it on money to get to the round of 8. Tell me about your game plan going for the round of 8, because that 8 and then 4 can be kind of tricky.
Yeah, it definitely can. I mean, for me, when it comes to those type of deals right there, you can't afford. I knew I had a good calf and I had to like give him just a tick more and he'd still be right there, but I just don't feel like you can back off on those things hardly at all, and so to me, because when you back off, that puts you going first to the 4-man deal, and it's always better if you can go a little bit last when it comes to those 4-man, the tournament style stuff. So in a way it is kind of rope sharp and survive, but in a way you kind of want to keep the gas pedal down and kind of be going at still trying to win rounds a little bit, not being crazy, but still being very aggressive, because if you back off, who all you got right there too,
I know. Definitely a good field too. So went to the round 4, and then tied it with Miss Josie.
Yeah. Yes.
So you were like, cool, gonna go again.
Yeah, well, like the round of 4 was a little bit tricky because it's like, all right, it is a very tricky thing. We were talking about this. It doesn't pay if you don't catch. You don't get anything if you don't catch, which is kind of crazy. That's a whole nother story. Like the team ropers go ahead and pay it out, even though
What?
they pay it out themselves.
But that's nice.
Yeah, so like even if they get ground money, they pay it how it should have, like it should have been 3rd and 4th. But so we were talking about that, and you do have to catch to win money. And so when I watch and you see Martha go out, Kelsey go out, and I'm like, okay, there's going to be ground money paid here. All you got to do is catch. And that's what somebody said. They're like, get out and get this thing caught. But the greedy in me was like,
you're like, but money.
But at the same time, I feel like early in my career when I was young, I didn't know any better than to just freaking throw it. And then I went for a very long time roping for a living. And so I roped smart. And now I feel like I'm at a place where I can be like, try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah. But gas pedal down, So I was like, I got the fastest freaking kid going behind me, the fastest young gun behind me. And I didn't come here to win second. I came to win first. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it on. If it works, it works. I'm not backing off just because I saw two misses happen.
Yeah. Okay. And then rope off 2-6, and you're still, swinging for the fences figuratively. It just took maybe another 10th or so to get there.
Not exactly on that one.
Okay.
Because I got to go second. And Josie had a no time.
You're right. I watched that now that you're saying it.
Yep. Josie had a no time. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to back off the start, because sometimes the hardest start is if you back off the start, Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I'm not going to back off the start. And we didn't really know the calves because we ran extras. And I'm like, if I break the barrier, it doesn't matter. Break the barrier,
Right.
Doesn't matter at this point. Just go as long as you get a time. So I took the start. I got out, calf stepped really hard left, and I was so freaking proud of T-Boy because I'd done nothing but throw second swing all weekend. And when the calf went left, T-Boy literally sucked around the end of the chute, got right behind him, stepped left, let me take another swing to just sure shot him, get him down, and win it. So,
oh my gosh, that could have been like your high loping around the arena deal. Like,
yeah.
come here, little dude.
yeah, exactly. So, but my horse made it easy. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Well, I know we've been kind of hyping up the fact that T-Boy's back since before the $1 million, but T-Boy's back, and you got to ride him at this really short setup at this really cool rodeo.
I know.
Hey guys, I just need to take a quick break from today's episode to tell you a little bit about roping.com. Get unlimited access to roping.com's comprehensive tie-down, breakaway, and team roping video library, and learn from world champions Caleb Schmidt and Shad Mayfield, as well as top trainers Logan Harkey and Justin Mass. Rope with legendary breakaway ropers like Larry DeGuy, Hope Thompson, and 2024 NFBR World Champion Kelsey Domer. Plus, binge hundreds of hours of live and archived ropings, including the Cinch Timed Event Championship, the Patriot events, and more. Now, let's jump back into the episode. For someone who wasn't really doing this deal when you retired him, was he just getting sore, or what was the reason you decided to put him out for a while?
Kind of like myself. I never use the word retire.
Ah.
So I never would use the word retired on him. I just was like, yeah, he's just going to stay out there, because I was like, maybe one day. But at the same time, I'd made peace with the fact that I might not ever ride him again. He had some soft tissue damage.
Okay.
In his front foot. And he's kind of always had a bad stifle. So I just had to keep going and whatnot, keep healthy. And he just kind of had a couple of injuries that they just weren't getting to the bottom of. And I didn't feel like they were just completely getting them fixed. And I'm not one to ride a horse if I think they're hurt at all. Mm-hmm. Even though he might not have been they got him pretty good. I just knew it wasn't him. You know what I mean? And if I felt a gimp or whatever, I just was like, this horse he doesn't owe me a thing, Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? Turn him out. If he wants to be turned out, I'm not going to keep doing stuff to him to try to make him sound if that's the end of his career. He had an amazing career, and we'll be done with it. So he's just been living his best life. And T-Boy, he does not like to be in a stall. He loves to be in a pasture. He gets really angry when he has to be in a stall. And so he's been living his best life out there for 2.5 years. Okay. But when I came home this time, I would be roping, and his pasture sits next to the arena, to the team rope arena. And he would just be tearing it up out there and running, and he'd stop and turn, and he'd run all the other horses and kick and do all this stuff. Every time I try to catch something out of that pasture, he'd try to run me over coming out the gate. And I was like, you know what? I just kept watching him while I'm roping on this other stuff and trying to get everything aligned. I'm like, you know what? You are sound. You are definitely sound. Yeah. So I called the vet. I said, listen, I know this might be crazy, but will you look at him? And he called me, and he's like, I haven't seen this horse look like this in years. Wow. And I was like, I know. So anyways, we swam him and started trying to get him back in shape and get him going. And I roped a little bit on him before Kimes Ranch and the $1 million breakaway. And I knew he was good. I think that when I cracked him out, I hadn't made a competitive run on him anywhere in 2.5 years. And I just didn't trust. I hadn't been on one that scored like that and just broke straight to the line the way he does, that he's notorious for. And I didn't trust it. And I did draw a couple of softer calves than what I thought. And so I broke the barrier a couple times. Then I made a really good run on him. And when we went to the NFR, I just didn't think that it was going to be his setup. It just didn't feel, I don't know. On the run throughs, I didn't feel right. Like it was his strength there. It just didn't feel right. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put that much pressure on that horse to to do whatever. My roan felt outstanding. I thought my roan worked great there. Calves were a little bigger, a little stronger. I don't know. Something in my gut was telling me that wasn't his setup. So, but when I heard I was going to San Diego, and I was like, you know what? He's in shape. He feels great. They said last year, I watched this on film, and the calves looked great, and the setup was, what I thought would be great for him. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to send him and only him, because I was actually supposed to have someone haul my horse out there. And I was like, I think T-Boy needs to go out there, but he only goes with Shy. No one else. So Shy left Odessa, and she had 3-4 days to make a 13-hour drive. And so it was a really easy trip. And she actually took him and Kelsey's horse, who's an older horse, and Little Man. Yeah. So she took she texted us, she said, I got the geriatric crew out here just waiting on their geriatric riders.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she took care of him. She did all the stuff. So I said, that'll be perfect for him. And so I was glad that I sent him and only him. And that was our option, because now I've got a lot of confidence. And
oh, I love it. But I was thinking, going back to Shy and her hauling, I wonder how many millions of dollars of earnings she had in that trailer. Like, that's just so crazy to think about.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah. Okay, so on those shorter winter building setups, it seems like T-Boy might be getting the call. And then, did you that roan is from LD, right?
Yes, I own him now.
Oh, cool! I didn't know you bought him.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, he seems like a good one. So, and
I
then,
really like him.
Do you still have Kevin?
Nope, I sold Kevin.
Okay, bye Kevin. And you still have Hail Mary, because I saw you ride her the other day.
I still have Hail Mary, and I still have Backtrack, the one I won Houston on.
Right. So, okay.
I've actually got a string of horses right now. It's kind of incredible that I am going to have to sell at some point. I just don't know what I'm going to sell yet, because I can't make my mind up, because I like all of them. I just don't need 4 amazing breakaway horses, 5 if you include T-Boy, to do what I'm going to do this year. I don't need that many. And I actually have 2 more behind them that I really like. They just need hauled. And so I'm in a good spot when it comes to horses.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of trying to decide what I'm going to get rid of.
I know. I would say, like, me not being a breakaway roper, I would want, like, at least 2.
Yeah. No, and honestly, I would be fine with that. Even if I had T-Boy and 2 more, because I know he's not going to last forever. I kind of back in the box. Honestly, I back in the box every time now, and it's a little bit sad, but I back in the box now knowing that I never take any calf for granted on him. If this is my last calf I run him, it's okay. If this is my last calf I run him, it's okay. He's 20 years old this year, so
yeah,
he doesn't feel it. He feels amazing. So,
well, one thing I noticed when I was looking at the footage is he just looks so proud of himself.
Oh yes, he is. He is. Trust me. He definitely has a strut to him. He definitely bows that neck up and prances out of there. And I mean, he thinks he is something, and he is kind of a jerk to handle, honestly. If you try to have him, like, if you just try to hold him and do it, like, he's kind of, I blame it on Shy, because she lets him get away with stuff, because he's like the golden child to her. And so he definitely knows he can get away with things, but he'll just sit there and headbutt you the whole time you're trying to hold. It's so annoying, but he kind of gets to do what he wants.
Yeah, I think we'll give that one a free pass. Maybe not the others, but
yeah,
he
gets to do what he wants.
But I mean, like, if you were just like, hey, the 2024 Rodeo Houston champ Backtrack is for sale, like, I feel like people would fall on their faces trying to buy him from you.
Well, and the thing is, like, that's the thing is, like, you usually have a pivotal moment where you're like, okay, this is a good horse. This is not the horse I need to keep. I haven't had that pivotal moment. I love all the horses I have right now. Yeah. I love Backtrack. I love that horse. I love Hail Mary. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a horse that I'm like, it's okay, but I think somebody else would get along with it better. Like, I really like all of them, but I can't even go to enough jackpots to ride them all. So
I know. Well, and you don't want to. You're supposed to be retiring, remember? Restructuring. Okay.
Not restructuring.
Well, I was gonna one day, I already have the headline, which is funny because usually I'm really like the headline comes last, but I have the headline already and it's gonna be called The Art of Staying Home. And I want to talk to you and like maybe Sarah. She said she wasn't gonna rodeo as much this year, and just talk about literally just how you stay home and how you stay sane doing it. Because I mean, I know you're going to a lot of indoors, but you're not going to leave for months.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you for your time. I'll catch you later.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in today as we visited with Miss Jackie Crawford and heard about her amazing breakaway horses. Can't wait to see her and T-Boy at some of those winter rodeo setups and kind of see how the rest of the year unfolds for her. Special thanks again to roping.com for supporting today's episode. And remember, you can join for a month or a year and watch roping.com on your computer, smartphone, or smart TV anywhere at any time. The ultimate streaming experience for every roper is on roping.com. All right, guys, I'll see you in next week's episode.